Welcome back, YouTube. It's your boy Rye, and you already know it's Rye's perspective. Today, we trying to figure out why we took off our crowns. Okay? Because lately, hopefully y'all been keeping up and catching on. But we are really at the bottom of the totem pole rather than where we are supposed to be. The way that they treat us, the way that we treat us, should be all the evidence anybody needs. But the sad thing is, we have came to a point where we don't even care that we're not really free. It's crazy how us, Black people, African descent, stand by and let so much happen rather than actually intervening and standing for simply what's right. The things that we accept in our communities, other communities do not accept. And that spectrum goes on. Values, morals, standards, the whole 9 yards. And now it's time for us to take the do-rags off, take the bonnets off, and put back on our crowns. Sit on our throne. Because we have enough broken homes, enough broken families, enough broken people to realize that not only are they breaking us, but we're breaking us, and so forth and so on. The cycle will not only continue, it will cease to exist. And yes, I did say cease to exist, because one thing is for sure: to make Black babies, you need a Black father. To keep the Black legacy going, you're going to need Black mothers and Black fathers. So, I don't care who you love, but understand this: do it for your sole purpose. Not for a gimmick, not for an antic, not to just piss people off. Do it simply because you truly desire it. Okay? And I mean truly desire it. Because love has no color. But right now, I'm trying to save my brothers and sisters. Right now, I'm trying to get my people to understand that we can do more good together than separately. So yeah, we have all these, scholars, doctors, and activists that speak up, but I've yet heard just to say, you know what, we're gonna take white man, the big people, all of them out there, right? We're gonna ask every African American in the world that's in the, or I guess in the United States, right? Every black person to give $1 every week for a year. Now, if I'm mistaken, it was like 40, 50 million black or African Americans in the United States. The first week, the bank or Federal Reserve or whatever we're going to call it should have whatever number there is of African Americans plus. This is how we see where people really stand. Because I mean, you're saying $1 from every black or African American there is in the United States so that we can be able to fund ourselves, fund our businesses, and really be able to become a stable community. The second week, we should have almost 100 million. Third week, 150, 140, whatever it is, so forth and so on, so that by end of the year, we are prepared to do anything necessary, funded by us. Schools, after school curricular activities, the Boys and Girls Clubs, trade, vocational schools, work. What about this? What about having programs that actually pay young people? I'm talking about from 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, so I mean, starting out at 12 years old, making $1, understanding how to save it, how to process it, and understand how long it can go or how short it can go a long way. But see, let me tell you something. Black people, something that you might not want to hear is white people, Asian people, and Hispanic people have been doing that shit forever. But yet, they're telling us, work on basketball, work on football, work on track. Not, let me teach you the value of this $1. Not, let me see what you're good at so that you can see what you really need to work on if you want to excel. Most black households, they don't teach people about money because we don't have enough money to teach anybody about. And if we do, majority of the time we're too selfish enough to even divvy it up between the household. We get money, we spend it on ourselves, we spend it on our spouse. And then, select few days, we allow our kids to feel enjoyment. However, that white family, that Asian family, that Hispanic family, they're simply making their children work and then pay them a portion, or they set money aside for them, or they build their credit, or they set them in the world when they're ready. Not still as little boys, little girls, but when they're ready. And that's something we have to get back to, because that is what we were doing before all of this. That's what we were doing before all of this. We civilized the world. And then became captive. Physically and then mentally. But now it is time for us to wear our crowns again. It's time for us to teach our children how to be children, and then the transition into teenagers, and then the transition to young adults, and then the transition into full-fledged men and women. Instead of raising kids to become bigger kids. We have to understand that certain things should not be on the back of our little ones. Because majority of the time, it is too heavy for our shoulders. Open your eyes, my black kings, my black queens, and please understand that everything that you do is being watched. And we're not talking about the outside world. We're talking about the inside walls of your very house. And I'm not going to call it a home, because until you know how to love, real fulfillment is not there. So it's got to be a house. Without real fulfillment, it's a house. It could never be a home. See, one thing that we have to understand as black people, African Americans, or whatever you want to call yourself, discipline comes in many ways. Many ways. Understanding comes in many forms and fashions. But one thing we have to understand, that we don't know it all. So yes, we can learn. And one thing is for certain, that your kids can teach you things that you've never even thought. If you open your eyes and listen. Understand this. Once when you was a child, you surprised your parents with something that they probably never told you until you got an adult. So you have to understand that same principle can apply to those that you birth, those that you raise. Don't give them the image of self-destruction. And have them replay it over and over and over, and then expect them to go into the world and be okay. We are better than that. We are better than that. Regardless of any situation, we have pushed it, made headway, and then tried to advance to the next. However, right now we are in quicksand. Because we're not trying to make real strides. We want to march in place until we can no longer breathe. So, we have to understand that we have to watch those around our kids. So therefore, that means we have to be the ones watching our children. We have to watch what they take in. We have to watch what they learn. We have to watch what they hear. Granted, you are not going to be able to be everywhere because a lot, and I do mean a lot of time, they're going to learn a lot from their peers. That's why you got to stay on that ass. You got to stay on that ass. You cannot be so selfish and egotistical that you made a decision and then didn't worry about the outcome until it was too late. So when you have that crown on your head, moving as a king and a queen, and I mean not as a peasant or a slave, understand that if you don't want children, don't have them. Leave it for folks that really want to. Because it is selfish to not be in your child's life, my guy. It is not cool for you to hold that child from him, my baby. It is not cool for y'all to bicker and not love that child wholeheartedly as it should be. Because it was a decision between two people. Granted, you can say, oh, she wanted to keep it. You wanted it to go raw. So, we're going to take the whole facet of saying that we're not going to take care of it, but we went raw. We got to go and take that out. That is an accountability factor. I don't care if it is a mistake or planned. The decision was made when contraception wasn't used. Believe me, I fell victim to it as well. But that's another thing that I have to understand, as well as you, my guy. You laid in the bed. You made that bed, so you're going to have to take care of that house. Simple. That is simple. Don't want those issues? Strap up every time, my G. Strap up, strap up, strap up. You hear me? And my baby. And I'm not talking to all of you. Of course, of course, of course. Some. Listen. Do not have a baby to try and control him. You're going to make your life miserable. You're going to make the baby's life miserable. Then you're going to make his life miserable. But it's going to be in a different order because you're going to take everything out on your baby. Then you're going to feel miserable. And then he's going to feel miserable, but it's not going to be reasons why you think. It won't be over you, and that's going to frustrate you more. It's going to be over the baby, the child. So don't put yourself in that position. Because, baby, ain't nothing better than you. Understand that. See, us men, we get real power from you. You make us the strongest man in the world. Especially a black woman, baby. Especially a black woman, you hear me? Different. Mother of life. Mother of life. And what gives us real God-like image, real God-like strength, real God-like freedom is you, baby. But we need you as our strength, as our understanding, as our peace. But not the opposite. Not the opposite, my baby. Not the opposite. The kids need that serenity and essence that nothing in nature can bring. But that's why we have to get back to being united and understanding one another. Because when we hear, that we can't even get a crack in the shield, you hear me? Cap shield ain't got nothing on what we got. But that's what the world feel. To see us raising real kings and queens. So put back on that crown, man. Put it back on. Hey, man, if y'all want part 2 to this, want me to keep going, you know, just like, comment, and share it. Make sure that y'all, you know, subscribe and share it with your people. Understand this, man. We got, we the hope. We can pray, but we also got to plan and push. I'm signing off. I love y'all.